Good evening. Welcome to Live United. This is an opportunity to share some of the exciting work going on in the Monadnock region that makes a difference in the lives of everyone who lives here. Today I have joining me three different guests, and you'll have an opportunity to meet each of them individually. And I'm first joined by Penny Vane. Penny is with the Maternal Child Health Program at HCS. So Penny, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here today.
And thanks for being here. And, you know, I mentioned that it's maternal child health, but I think you have some very exciting news for the community.
We do have some very exciting news. Our maternal child health program, which has been around since 1907, when nurses were visiting little itty-bitty babies in their moms' homes, has gone through a rebranding process. It's been a very thoughtful process where we have talked about the mission of our program and the messaging that goes around our program, and talked with a lot of people about what it is we actually do. And we decided to change our name to Healthy Starts, which is indicative of all of the work we do. We want to give each family a healthy start each and every day. We want to give every baby a healthy start by working very closely with pregnant moms to ensure that they have a healthy start from the day they're born.
And you know, I love that name because when we think about our very youngest people, it's so important that they have that healthy start right from, you know, pre-birth. Mm-hmm. And because it builds that foundation for their future. So the program's not necessarily changing, is it? So tell us a little bit about the program. And I know we had a wonderful mom on the program in the past with her baby, mm-hmm. who talked about the program. But give us an update and fill us in a little bit again on how this program serves the Monadnock region.
So Healthy Starts for pregnant women, children, and families is a really important program in our region. We serve all of Cheshire County and some parts of Hillsborough County. So we stretch from Hinsdale all the way up to Charlestown, and we stretch all the way west to the border of the county. And we really find ways to support pregnant women and their families and their children to ensure that they have all of their basic needs to make sure that they can be a healthy family and have a healthy start. So whether it's offering them a connection to a medical home, making sure that they have the pediatrician that they can relate to and have a relationship with, or whether they can need connection to an OB, somebody who can help them through the pregnancy, who understands them and will hear their story. And also for parents who are in crisis, who are just all stressed out about how to manage that whole parenting piece. We are there to partner with them to help them figure out how to answer those questions and how to move their families through some of that very difficult time.
It is, you know, it's, I was at a baby shower yesterday, and first-time parents, first-time grandparents, and I remember that anxiety that you feel with your first child, and you know, the mom was saying, well, I'm not going to let people do this. I can't do this. I'm not sure about this. And then it was just funny because she held up this little pair of trousers that she had been given, which were overalls. Mm-hmm. And she held them up backwards. and she started laughing, and she said, I don't even know how to put these on. And it made me think about, you know, how scary it is that mm-hmm. that very first time you're having a child. So how wonderful that there's a program that really helps parents and guides them mm-hmm. really through that early, you know, the birthing process, everything that you can sort of anticipate and expect, and those things that you can't anticipate.
Right. And so there are two wonderful things about that. One is that our home visitors and social workers and nurses, the whole team, can work with you as a pregnant mom to help decide how you're going to make your decisions about this. So many moms are hearing stories from grandmothers and great-grandmothers or their next-door neighbor or the bus driver, and they're not really sure how to discern what is the information that really resonates with them. And so our home visitors are there to help them through that process, to figure out which way those trousers are going to fit best and how you're going to launder them, and ensuring that you're eating what you need to be eating to ensure the healthy start of your new baby. The other piece of that is that our program is an evidence-based program, which means that it has been tested, it has been researched, it has been applied. People have been using it across the nation for years and years. And we know that it works, that people who are brought into our program or engage in our program early on in their pregnancy are given all the skills and all of the healthy information that they need, all the resources, all the research that shows the best practice for giving birth to a healthy child, how to parent that healthy child. So twofold. One, we're able to partner and help you understand how to make your own decisions about how your child is going to grow, and also knowing that you have all this research behind you and lots of information that you can sort through.
You know, and we live in an information world. We're just inundated now with lots of messages, you know, whether it's Facebook or social media, all kinds of things. And you mentioned that lots of people have advice on parenting, and I can remember this young woman whose shower I was at yesterday posted recently, you know, we're not going to let anybody kiss our baby, and you know, people are thinking about lots of these things because you get so much information now about how things get passed in terms of disease.
Absolutely.
And just all kinds of things. Vaccinations, I know, is a huge issue that's being discussed across the country right now. So I'm sure new parents in particular, or parents who maybe have already gone through some children, but you have this new information coming at you, probably would love someone to be able to talk to. So if someone wanted to reach out to you, how would they go about doing that?
Well, we have lots of different ways. Knowing in our new world where everybody's into technology, you can visit our website, which is www.hcsservices.org. You can call us on the telephone at 352-2253. My extension is 132, and I'd be happy to talk to anybody who's interested in the program. We do have a Facebook page at HCS Services, and you're welcome to like us on Facebook as well.
And that's a great thing to do. And the other way I know is always 211. If you can, audience, remember any of those numbers or the website, you know, either remember HCS and plug that in the Keene area, and you're going to probably come up with all of those ways to reach them. But you can also dial 211. And 211 will provide information and referral for you to the service. Now, Penny, you know, with this new name, I imagine that you're going to kind of have a launch for that and really make the public aware, because when anything changes like that, people oftentimes say, oh, the program's gone.
True. And we're not gone. We're just changing our name to Healthy Starts. And one of our biggest rollout is happening on May 9th, which is Mother's Day, and we'll be having a Healthy Start 5K race at 312 Marlborough Street in Keene. It's a certified course, and it is our funding, one way that we raise funds to keep our program going. And I hope that all of you will come celebrate Mother's Day with us. There'll be some great activities for the children, for families, some door prizes, some good music, and of course a good healthy walk.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about that a little bit later in the show. But before we do that, is there anything you really want the public to know about this particular program? And again, folks, this is Maternal Child Health changing its name to Healthy Start. It's still there. It's there for you. Absolutely.
So what I hope everybody hears is that Healthy Starts has a new name. It reflects all the work that we can do with you and for you, beside you, to help you grow a healthy child in this world. We are able to come to you, so we have home visiting programs, social workers and nurses who can support you and partner with you through your pregnancy and beyond. We accept Medicaid insurance, and we're happy to talk with you about other financial resources that you may need, connect you to housing resources, making sure that you're connected to WIC and all of those other supports that you'll need through the journey to parenthood.
And again, this is a program that's really designed for parents who, pre-birth, and to really prepare you for parenting and for a newborn child, and to then prepare your child from there on up so that they have a healthy future. So just fabulous work going on there. You mentioned some collaborations, WIC program. You know, that's a program through Southwestern Community Services, SCS. And how else do you collaborate and connect folks to some of the other resources out there?
One of the wonderful things that we will do when working with a new family is identifying a plan of care and things, identifying what your needs are and what your goals are for the future. So in aligning that, we think about what other agencies might be able to best support you. So we have really good relationships with Southwest Community Services, both the WIC programs and the housing programs and the weatherization programs. We have close connections to Monadnock Developmental Services. When you think maybe something might not quite be growing well with your child, we can do ages and stages screenings. We can refer to MDS for further evaluation. We have close connections to Monadnock Family Services, Keene Housing, Monadnock Center for Violence Prevention, many agencies and organizations in our area and beyond who can find ways to support you. And we're not about making a phone call and just pretending that's going to happen. We're really about ensuring that there's a warm handoff so that you know that you're getting the support that you need, and we'll follow up to ensure that that's happening.
So great news that Healthy Starts will remain with us and be a part of building the future for our young children and be a foundation piece again for that. So we're thankful to have you here, Penny. We're going to take a quick break here, and we're actually going to bring someone in and continue to talk about this Healthy Start and some of the work that's going on there and the upcoming race.
Fabulous.
So hang on.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
The inherent right to work is one of the elemental privileges of a free people. Endowed, as our nation is, with abundant physical resources, and inspired as it should be, with the high purpose to make those resources and opportunities available for the enjoyment of all. We approach this problem of reemployment with the real hope of finding a better answer than we have now.
Things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Donate stuff, create jobs.
So welcome back, and we have a new guest with us, still from HCS and still representing the Healthy Start program. So we're pleased to have Shelley with us. Shelley's the Community Relations Manager at HCS Services, and it's Shelley Cohen, correct?
It is.
So I want to make sure you're aware of that name, public, so that if you need to reach out to HCS, you can reach out to Shelley there. And we will share that information again. But Shelley's here to talk about an upcoming race.
Yes, it is our third annual Healthy Starts 5K event, presented again by Markham Image. We're very fortunate to have so many wonderful community members support us, as Penny has with the program, we also do with our events, so that's great. Certainly couldn't run without them, but you can run, walk, or stroll at our event. It's children to active seniors and walkers to elite runners. We do it all, and we're happy to have everybody join us.
Now, I know one thing that I hear a lot is, can people bike? Can they skateboard? Are there other ways that they can participate?
No, it's really a biped sort of event. So we do allow kids in strollers, but no dogs, so really 2 legs is really key. And it's a great course. It's fast and mostly flat, except for that one hill up by the bike path, but it starts at our office at 312 Marlborough Street, and it goes down around Optical Ave, up Eastern Ave to the bike path, and then makes that loop down Grove Street and back to our office. And we're going to have snacks and a DJ, and there's activities for the kids. And it's just a really wonderful community event, lots of fun.
So it sounds like a great event, and we are fortunate to have organizations like Markham Homage that'll sponsor these different types of activities. It sounds like something that could be a family event or an individual who just really wants to get out there and support young people.
Right. It's going to be a beautiful spring morning, a good day for a walk, and we have families, but we also have folks who just come to support the program, to get out and about, see what's going on, and it really is all ages. I mean, we have babies in strollers, and I think right now our oldest registrant is 82 years old.
Oh, good for them.
I know, that's amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great news, and such a wonderful event for people to participate in, and a healthy event, which is the name of it.
Right. We're all about healthy starts at HCS.
Right. Now, does this support just the Healthy Starts program, or is it supporting other programs at HCS?
This event actually just supports Healthy Starts, so it is just that program.
So folks, you were just hearing about Healthy Starts. It's formerly known as the Maternal Child Health Program, now known as Healthy Starts. Really about building that strong foundation for our young people from pre-birth up, to, I think you go to age 3 to 5.
I think there are kids even older in the program.
Wow.
It really depends on what the families need for support, and the children can also ask for extra support if they feel like they need something. So we really try to cover it all and make sure that our communities are as healthy as they possibly can be.
Wonderful. Now, is this a rain or shine event?
It is a rain or shine, but I've put in a request to the weather gods, so I hope we're going to be okay.
So we'll have a little dancing out there
right,
to keep the sun out there.
60 and overcast would be perfect. Lots of sun can be tricky. Rain can be a bit of a damper, but yes, we are rain or shine and fun all along.
Now, do folks have to find sponsors for this prior to the event? Can they just show up that day and register?
They can show up that day and register, and there's no sponsorship needed. Certainly, if they want to do that, that's available on our active.com link that is on our website, www.hcsservices.org. But they can just come and, there's a small entry fee, and that all goes to the program. So that's all they need.
Now, you mentioned that this is a really fun event, and I think we have a couple of pictures we'll pull up here in a minute.
Yeah.
But, what are some of the fun activities that go on around this? You've got the walk or the stroll or run.
Right.
But then what are some of the other fun activities for people to participate in? A DJ?
Yes, CJ the DJ, Chris Holman, is going to be with us this year, and that's going to add so much energy to our event. It's really great to have the music because it gets everyone pumped up, and you kind of have the soundtrack playing in your head, kind of a Chariots of Fire sort of thing. And, we're having face painting, and the Maternal Child Health, now Healthy Start staff, is going to be doing activities for the kids. Hopefully in Butterfly Park if the weather's nice. If the weather's a little iffy, we'll be inside and have plenty of room for them to run around. And snacks from United Natural Foods, and we're going to have door prizes, prizes from Ted's Shoe and Sport, which is awesome, and Keen Yoga Center, Badger. So lots of good stuff to get their hands on.
A good reason to be out there. And I think Dave's going to bring up a couple of pictures for us so that we can see a couple of things from past races. And
oh, yes, that's our new logo.
That's the logo.
Right.
Wonderful.
And then people getting off to a healthy start at our 5K.
Those look like the runners taking off.
Yes, we do the runners just before the walkers. The walkers are in the back of the line.
Uh-huh.
And then it's the kids. The kids are funny. They really get all puffed up, and they like to show how fast they can go, and they really motor through the course usually.
So again, you know, here's a great family event or a great individual event for any age to participate in. You can be in a stroller, or you can, I think you said over 80
Yes.
is your oldest registrant now. So we have seniors participating as well.
Yep, we have the Super Seniors group from the Keene Senior Center this year.
Wow.
Who are joining us.
Now, is there a time limit for completing the course, or can people just really take their time and enjoy the walk or the run and come in whenever they come in?
Yes, we are timed. Tri-State Racing is doing our timing again this year. So everyone will be timed, but there's no pressure to come in at any specific time. Walkers will take probably anywhere from 45 minutes even to an hour and 15 minutes. And we have course monitors on the course who will be making sure everyone is safe and helping them cross traffic in a couple spots, and clapping and cheering and encouraging everybody. And we have somebody who sweeps the course and follows the last set of walkers on her bike, and make sure that everyone is able to finish safely and have fun doing it. And we all have a good time when we all get back to the office.
So again, folks, you heard Penny Vane a little bit earlier talking about the wonderful Healthy Starts program and the work that they're doing here in the Monadnock region. Shelley's joined us and is really sharing that there's a fundraiser event for that particular program on May 9th. Again, how would people reach out if they want to participate in this program?
Well, they can certainly call, and our number is 352-2253. Info@hcsservices.org is a good way to get in touch with me as well. And then on our website, we have a link to the registration page and some specific information, and that's www.hcsservices.org. And certainly they can come by our office. All three of our offices actually have registration forms available in Keene, Peterborough, and Charlestown. So everyone can come, and there's lots of ways to access. And then you can come the day of and register. Between 8 and 8:45, we'll be having people register.
Great. So again, Shelley Cohen from HCS, and can they reach out directly to you, Shelley?
Oh, yes, I'd love to talk to them.
Oh, good. And that event is on May 9th. What are the hours of that event?
Registration and check-in starts at 8, and then the walk/run/stroll starts at 9.
So a fun event scheduled for the day. If you're really looking for something that will benefit the community, a way to volunteer your time, and really give back to a super program out there, participate on May 9th. And again, you can reach out to Shelley Cohen at HCS Services, but I'm guessing they could probably call HCS and talk to just about anyone about this particular day. So it sounds like a lot of fun. Get out there, participate. If you stay with us, we're going to bring on Mary LaValle. Mary's actually going to talk about what it's like to visit the homes of some of the parents and young people that you serve with this program. So thanks, Shelley, for joining us. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll bring Mary on, who will talk a little bit more about Healthy Starts.
This is why you get by on 4 hours sleep. Why you took a second job. This is why you taught yourself how to fix the plumbing. And spend hours juggling the bills. This is why you'll do whatever it takes to keep your home. And that is why we want to help. We are making home affordable, a free government resource that can make paying the mortgage easier. Now more options are available. Call 888-995-HOPE to talk one-on-one with a housing expert today.
And I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted to. My love, my love, my love, she keeps me warm. 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 She keeps me warm.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Love is kind. Love is patient.
So welcome back, and we're continuing to talk about the Healthy Starts program, a program of home health care services, hospice, I forgot hospice in there, and community, so it's easier to say HCS. But I'm now joined by Mary LaValle, and Mary is one of the home visitors for the Healthy Starts program. And this is where we get to kind of the nitty-gritty of things, Mary. And so tell us, what does it mean to be a home visitor?
It means a multitude of things, but I think the bottom line is it's a very, very special role that I get to fulfill because families welcome me into their world. It might not always be a home, but they welcome. And the basis of all that is an element of trust that does develop over time.
And I would imagine that trust is absolutely critical, and especially when you're facing sometimes being a new parent, or sometimes it may be that you have a child who has some special needs. And that has to feel a little scary. And even, I think, you know, we're parents when we have children all of our lives, and there's moments where we always feel like we need somebody to support us. So I imagine that trust is really critical, and that relationship of getting to really know what their needs are. And I think Penny mentioned early on, you do the ages and stages, and you also do some screening. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I think home visiting encompasses so many things. Ages and Stages is a developmental screening that we offer kind of to complement parents so that they can become aware of how well they are parenting. It is a very well-developed screen. I believe it's over 30 years old, that hits all the 5 major developmental levels: small and gross motor, socialization, problem-solving, communication, and physical development. And when a parent hears the word screen, because we do have trust, we're allowed to actually do a paper screen, which is very parent-friendly, and a lot of parents love to read it and fly through it on their own. It doesn't take very long. But it kind of augments and pats them on the back. It is to make them feel good and see that their child is on track and they are doing a good job.
And I think sometimes as parents, we forget that. We get caught up in, and Penny and I were talking about all those messages you get. And oftentimes you're hearing, you know, you shouldn't do this, you should do this. And you can probably feel overwhelmed as a parent. So this opportunity to have somebody that comes right to your home or your apartment or whatever your setting may be, to really support you, and just to be able to talk through some of those things, to have these wonderful tools. And I want to remind you, audience, that these are tools. These are not, you know, something that's telling you you're doing something right and wrong. It's really to support you and enhance your ability to be the best parent you can be. And that's what's wonderful about Healthy Starts, because it's not a judgment program. It's really about saying, you know, here's the things you're doing great as a parent. Here's some ways we can support you as a parent.
And what you're referring to is the strength-basedness of our program. It does function on the strengths of our families and how they parent, and the strengths in their family unit and in their children. Along with other tools, we have tools that kind of speak to where parents may have had some brokenness in their lives. And one would be an ACE tool, which refers to the adverse childhood factors in their life. And when a parent is willing to reflect with you about some of those areas, it kind of eases the flow and gives a better path for momentum on how you can help guide, motivate, and show that the family can be fixed in an emotional way.
You know, and that's really important too, because I can remember when I was becoming a first-time parent, and I thought to myself, I want to make sure I don't do this quite like my mom did this, or my dad did this. And you know, I bet we all kind of go through that we think about how we might want to do things a little bit differently than we experienced as a child. And it's not to say, again, that, you know, your parents were bad parents. You know, I had absolutely wonderful parents. I just knew there was things I probably wanted to improve on.
And that's the beauty of what we're able to do. We're able to kind of highlight that is their choice on what they would like to emulate and kind of readjust in how they were raised as a child and bring it forward in their own life, as well as to reflect on best practices and what is safe. The idea of home visiting is to reduce a multitude of things. It would be violence in the home, child abuse and neglect, chronic, long-lasting illnesses in children, children that end up in the special education system or in the foster care system. So it's a very, very multifaceted kind of approach, and it is complicated, but it all pieces together beautifully.
So I know this month is a special month, and we actually have a symbol of that month with us, if you want to share that and tell us a little bit about what that means.
These are pinwheels. They are provided to us by New Hampshire Children's Trust, which is in Concord, New Hampshire. They symbolize, in the colors of the blue and silver on the pinwheel, that a child should be free and carefree, that their life should be simple and uncomplicated, and in essence just kind of glow with the goodness of life and love. So we celebrated in our office with these. I'm not sure if these are in the way. And our team also wore a lot of blue. So it was a fun symbolism, and it is a month-long reflection, so that we have awareness on child abuse in our state.
So a great thing to be aware of, because the reality is it is there. We've had folks on the show a couple of weeks ago from Monadnock Center for Violence Prevention actually talking about that, some of the work that they're doing to address that. And again, we're lucky to have here in the region the support of Healthy Starts to also work with families who may be, whether they're experiencing a challenge or maybe they're not, and just really need support as a parent. Mary, it would be wonderful if you could share with us a story about, because you do home visiting. We've had a parent with their child on the show in the past, but you know, you've had some experience with actually going in to a home. So share with us something where you went in and you just felt like something really changed for that family.
I certainly have had many, many instances. This is a difficult one to portray, but I think it's a very, very good demonstration of trust. A mother who was very young, 16 I believe, with a terrible childhood history of trauma, with lots of discussion about the importance of getting prenatal care. She was a young mom. She had certainly endured a lot of trauma and a lot of poverty. So getting her to a medical home was very critical. She herself hadn't even had much medical care, but here she was pregnant. Because of her history, it was very traumatizing for her to even go to a medical history, much less see male OBGYN providers. With an understanding with the Hubbard Center, which we have a wonderful rapport with, that I could always be there and hold her hand, she was willing to go through what was needed for her prenatals.
Wow. So you actually even supported visiting the doctor in
Correct.
this case.
Correct.
And
Correct.
literally held her hand through that process.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm sure the audience is curious, you know, what kinds of services do you really provide then? You know, Penny talked a little bit about it, and but, you know, this is sort of a different aspect to it.
Well, I'm fortunate enough to come to where you are. It could be as much as once a week, or if there's a need, sometimes we can pop in a little bit more to kind of work through things. Sometimes as time goes along and things are working smoother, it can be 2 or 3 times a week. And the whole idea is I come to you, I make it easy for you, I try to facilitate how we may work together to solve some problems. It usually is that people are more comfortable in, let's say, their own bedroom or their own home, but we do visit in shelters, we do visit in tents in the woods, and we've also visited just on the street because there really is no home yet. So that kind of paves the way for where we need to go with help. But making a family feel that we will come to them and we will work together, I think is one of the most kind of promising aspects of how we start as home visitors. From there, we work on what a family sees as most important, most critical. Sometimes these are very evident. Sometimes we need to do a little delving to find out what the path or what the most critical element might be. So we set up a family kind of goal plan, and that can change. I often say it's kind of fun because it's very individualized. What works for one family is vastly different than what will work for another.
And I would imagine that based on their situation, whether it's their living situation, their economic situation, perhaps their past, that it is going to vary a lot, and that'll probably evolve over time. You know, my guess is for the young woman where you talked about her actually getting the medical care she needed,
Yes.
probably what she needed from you was very, very different. What did she end up needing from you as it moved along?
That was a story where I felt might depict the level of trust. She did end up moving to New York, and she delivered her baby there, and I hear all went well. But again, I thought that was a model of where we can develop a rapport that is sometimes irreplaceable.
And again, when you think about the name of the program, Healthy Starts, you really met her at the point where she needed you to find that medical, you call them medical homes, but it's really helping her find that doctor who's going to provide the service based on where she's at in her pregnancy at that point. So what other kinds of families are you working with out there? Our audience always loves to hear the stories about what's happening out there in the Monadnock region.
It's very interesting because sometimes you meet transient families that they come and maybe they're gone in 6 to 8 months. You might meet a family that the grandmother knew of the program and now she's referring it for her child. You might meet a family that it is their first time child and they are just so craving what will be a source of knowledge for them and a source of support. And then you might meet the mom who maybe doesn't have her children in her possession, but she finds herself pregnant again and really wants to stay on the right path this time. It's so diversified and it's never as you say, the same story twice.
So is there any special criteria for being part of the program?
Oftentimes having any cognitive challenges, any emotional challenges, financial challenges, and just maybe singleness. And we're really willing to accommodate a lot of different needs.
Now, do you also assist a family with finding childcare if they are in the workforce?
Absolutely. And that would kind of be on the ladder of kind of working towards success, because maybe childcare is needed so the mother can do something that is good for her, perhaps get some counseling or something she needs to do or pursue a hobby, or maybe even get in the workforce. So that's definitely in our plan.
So tell me, Mary, what does it mean when a child has a healthy start in life? What does it mean to their future?
Hopefully it means that they're going to be happy with themselves, that when they go to sleep at night, they're having some happy thoughts, rather than thoughts that cause toxic shock to their little systems. That they're going to know that there's a caregiver, a mom or a dad or a grandparent or another relative who loves them. And that they're going to have something to eat in the morning and go off to school and do their very best at their work and have friends at school. So when you build a child's self-esteem, it's the framework for strengthening that just keeps on building in their little hearts and brains their whole life.
And you mentioned the brains, and there's been a lot of research about what they call toxic stress on a child. When they have that trauma, when they don't have that strong foundation early in life, it actually affects the brain and affects their long-term ability to function socially, function problem-solving wise, be part of a group, be part of a family, and succeed in life, ultimately. And, you know, our goal, of course, for all young people is to build that strong foundation, and they call it the bedrock here in the Granite State, early in their lives, so that they can have success in school, ultimately success in the workforce, and success with their families and their lives in the future.
That's right.
So wonderful, wonderful work that you're doing. Again, Healthy Starts, formerly known as Maternal Child Health. But we really want to make sure people understand it's Healthy Starts, it's still there, and that we have wonderful people like you, Mary, out there visiting our families. And this is for anyone who really feels that need for that service. You may have challenges that you're facing. You just may need support. Now, if somebody doesn't quite fit for your program, I'm guessing that you can help them find some other support.
We definitely can refer, and we can probably find a way within one of our programs to at least be kind of the launch to what will help that family. So,
and I love that word launch, because you know, and I've shared in past shows that I have a daughter and she's 19, and I love watching her now because she's really launching in her life, and it's such an important word. And really, when you think about even pre-birth, that we have an opportunity to help move them forward in their lives very, very early on.
That's right, because how a mother takes care of herself is how she's taking care of her child in utero. And she's also thinking about what choices she'll make for housing and how she might feed her child. And we very much support moms who want to make and dads too, because it's dad's element of support as well, to breastfeed.
And you know, we did, I'm glad you mentioned dads, because in a conversation I was having yesterday with a group of families at a baby shower, we were talking about that dads have become central caretakers now in young people's lives. There's been quite a shift in the last probably 10, 15 years. And I was sharing even that my three of my brothers actually stayed at home as dads for a while, really taking care of their children. So I do think we see a lot more of that. And I'm guessing that there's probably still a little stigma attached to dads maybe reaching out for service, but you do serve them as well.
I think dads are hearing through the grapevine or seeing by example that it is for them too. And that's another reason for one of our name changes. It's just kind of all-inclusive and making any caregiver feel welcome. And dads are really hungry for knowledge. Once had a dad say, gee, moms can get together anywhere and they have these coffee hours, or they can even talk in the grocery store, and that goes right to talking about their children. Dads, when they meet each other, might be a quick vehicle, the sports event, they don't get down to the nitty-gritty, so they are very, very open to parenting information that is totally applicable and for fathers.
And I bet they have the same fears as anyone would about being a parent. And I mentioned earlier, you know, how do you put the overalls on right?
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
I oftentimes, I can remember my brother calling me and he said, I can't get the diaper pail put together.
They also have a phenomenal sense of pride, and they need that self-worth. And I think in our society we have to, like you just said, completely remember that it might not be bio dad, but it could be the person serving in that fathering role that needs to be honored and supported as much as we can.
Now I'm curious, do you run into grandparents at all? Because
Sure do.
we're seeing more and more now of a population that's raising their children's children at times.
And that is kind of a generational trend which has happened in some of the families that I see, where the grandmother does raise the grandchild. It is just how it has been.
So you do provide support to
Absolutely.
grandparents as well?
Absolutely. Sometimes a child is placed in a grandparent's home on a temporary basis, but sometimes they are it, and we'll work and do our very best in providing all that we can that will help and support.
So Mary, as you think about healthy starts for people, what's your hope for the future?
My hope is that if you're listening or watching this today or can share with someone, you will reach out to Healthy Starts. We're there for you. We're free. We're there for you. It's at HCS, 603-352-2253. Penny Vane is our program coordinator. And I also want to thank you, Kelly, for the Monadnock United Way. The funding we get through that is so integral, and we are entirely grateful.
You know, it's funny that you say the funding is through the United Way, and I really want to highlight the through because it's you, audience. You're the ones out there that are giving. You're donating time. We have an upcoming race for Healthy Starts on May 9th that you can participate in as a volunteer. We oftentimes have people who cannot afford to financially give, but may be able to give time, and you know, by participating in that event, you can help raise funds for Healthy Start by giving your time. Is there an opportunity for people to volunteer at all for any of your events like this, the race that's coming up, or for other services that you may be offering?
I'm sure there is, and I can't completely give you a list at this moment, but call Shelley Cohen at HCS, and I'm sure she could link you. And just within our own department of Now Healthy Starts, we do have, we try to do at least 2 big family events a year, and there's certain families that really kind of want to take a lead role. One time a family offered to do some singing. In a future event, another family has offered to do some face painting. So social connection and us being the network kind of facilitator for that is very important.
Now, one of the things I do want to mention is I think you actually do some groups where people have an opportunity to kind of mentor each other and socialize together and really learn from each other as part of the Healthy Starts program.
We're so wise because social connections, is one of what we call one of our 5 important protective factors, so that when parents can reach out, not just to maybe the neighbor who isn't home much next door, but can get out and mingle and share stories and information and do some confidence building and some strengthening of each other is critical. And we have our parents tell us that they crave it and utilize it.
You know, I love the whole thinking about neighbors and being neighbors and how we can be a community. And I think we forget that sometimes it really requires all of us collectively working together to build that foundation, that Healthy Starts can't do it alone. You know, the WIC program at SCS can't do it alone. that it requires the neighbors, it requires our grandparents, it requires our families, all of us really, you know, weaving together to build that foundational support for our youngest children and their futures. I want to thank you for joining us, Mary. Audience, I want to remind you that you have an opportunity to give to Healthy Starts right now by participating in the May 9th race. That'll start at HCS. Registration starts at 8 a.m. You can reach out to them. I'm going to have Mary highlight their phone number and web address again for you to be able to do that. But you can also reach out if you're in need of service. And that may be service for a family they know. Can somebody reach out if they have a family they know that they'd like to really connect to you?
Absolutely. We have family referrals quite frequently, self-referrals, church referrals, DCYF referrals, medical facility referrals. We want your referrals.
So again, really, you know, that sense of community and how we can all support raising our children into the future together. So, you know, we have the May 9th event coming up. We have the wonderful Healthy Starts program that's available to you. If you have questions about how to reach out to that program, you can go online. You can call 211. You can also call HCS directly or visit their Facebook page, their web page. They are based here in Keene but have locations throughout the Monadnock region. So really a great, great program connected to many other programs out there in the community. And Mary, again, thank you for joining us. And I want to remind you, audience, that this is an opportunity to participate in Healthy Starts and to be part of Living United. Please remember to give, to volunteer, to advocate. Thanks for joining us.